So again, welcome all to Safia's Academy, and today our main point of discussion is how to read NCERT. Now, in the last session, which I'll take once more, on every aspect of preparation when we talk about, I've already told you that there are 4 friends which you have to take into consideration. 4 friends which will be with you throughout this journey, and these 4 friends are: number 1 is your syllabus. Number 1 is your syllabus. What is your syllabus? Every time I have told you that your syllabus should be, by heart. That is your navigator, that is your GPS, that is your Google map, which will guide you to the right destination, number 1. Number 2 are NCERTs. Now, most of the time people misunderstood me when I say NCERTs are important. They think that only NCERTs are important. No. But those who want to make their, preparation concrete, NCERTs are the base. In today's session, I'll tell you what are that. By the end of this session, I'll tell you which are those, important books. What are those important books? What are the NCERTs that you have to follow? And at the end of this session, I'll tell you how to do a transition from NCERT to your reference book. There is a possibility that you could directly jump to the reference book. You can. I'm not saying that that cannot be done. That can be done, but that is not something which is, the right or the correct way. Sometimes, and when we talk about preparation is like compound interest. Preparation is compounding in its nature. So when any one of you, those who are into investment or those who understand investment, they know that when you invest and you wait for the returns to compound, first 10-20 months or 10-20 years, you may not get something very phenomenal. But, from 20 to 30, the return will double every day. So from 5, it will take time to reach 5 lakh. But after 5 lakh, next day it will be 10 lakh. Next day it will be 20 lakhs. Next day it will be 40 lakhs. This is the power of, and this is how preparation. So your initial months, those who are starting afresh, your initial months will be very, it may go slow because NCERTs are there, you have to understand them, you have to read them. But after a point when you will, enter into that zone of compounding, you'll jump like this. And then those reference books, those things will become easy to you. Okay. So what we are going to do in today's workshop, number 1, we are talking about why NCERTs. Now this is a major question that you need to answer. So I told you that you have 4 friends. Number 1 is your syllabus, number 2 is your NCERT, number 3 are your PYQs, and number 4 is your newspaper. So first, our seminar was on syllabus, that how to understand the syllabus, how to understand the UPSC syllabus. Number 2, today we are discussing that how to decode NCERTs, how to read NCERTs, what is the importance of NCERTs, which are those books that we have to read in this course, and how to do that transition from NCERT to your reference book, how that will be done. In coming days, possibly in the month of August, everything if goes well, we will have next session on how to read newspaper. We will have another session on how to analyze PYQs. All of you have PYQs. All of you have PYQs. What to do with that? Just keep on solving that 100 questions in one go, and then no. Every PYQ is a hint of what will come in future, what are the possibilities of future. And nowadays, from past few years, again I am telling you, it is the language of the question which is not repeated, but the theme of the question is repeated. You may not find a question with same language appearing again in prelims, but you will definitely find a theme which is repeating again in prelims. So this is what we are going to do in coming days, apart from our regular classes, which is your Monday to Friday. Fine. But on Saturdays we are going to have such kind of seminars where you will understand this nitty-gritty. So what we are going to do today, first we will understand why NCERTs are important. Second, where to start, what is, NCERTs versus reference books. We will talk about NCERT mapping with GS syllabus, how to match that NCERT with your GS syllabus. It is not just like a storybook reading, you go from one end to another. Then how to read them effectively. Reading a book and effectively reading a book, both are different. Reading a book and effectively reading a book, both are different things. Then what are the common mistakes that you can do, that we will understand in this, and what are the final takeaways, we will talk about this. Now the first and the foremost question that many of the aspirants ask in the beginning is, what, sir, why NCERTs? What is the reason that you are so much focused on NCERT? What is the reason that everyone is asking, you have to go with NCERT? Of course, this is a body, that is National Council of Education, Research and Training, and it is a government body. And if it is a government body, it means what? The information has to be authentic. Now, nowadays, there are various controversies revolving around the new NCERT books. That is why we will leave the controversy aside, and at many places what we are going to do, we are going to refer old NCERTs. Yes, there are certain controversies, it depends. But, and I am telling you one thing, let's say if there is a contradiction, there is a question, the answer of that question is contradictory. The answer of that question is contradictory. In that scenario, what will be considered correct is whatever is written in NCERT. Whatever is written in the standard textbook, this is your standard. This is your fundamental. This is your authentic source. And the beauty about NCERT that I'll tell you later is how that happens, that I'll tell you later, but the beauty is every time you read this book, you will get something new. Every time you read, you keep on repeating, reading, and a point will come when you will get something new out of this. And we assume that the content is, yes, the content is fact-checked. We assume that it is free of ideological bias. But yes, nowadays there are controversies related to NCERT's new content, and that is the reason that most of the aspirants, most of the educators, most of the mentors, we do what we ask you for old NCERTs which are free from controversies, by and large. Okay. Another reason why NCERTs are important, because at times UPSC directly picks the content from the NCERTs. Direct questions are there. I have told you on any prelims day 30, 35, 40. If it is a difficult paper, it is 30 to 35. It is an easy, comparatively easy or a standard paper, you will find around 40, 45 questions that are fundamental in nature. And a majority chunk for that 40, 45, 30 to 45 questions are actually picked directly from NCERTs. Directly from NCERTs. So that is why NCERTs are important. Another thing is that many of you are coming from different streams. All of you are coming from different streams. Some is coming from, science, arts, humanities, engineering, medical, law. All of you, commerce. All of you are coming from different stream. And even if I say social science, even I say subject, we see subjects like what we have to study. All those subjects you may have read 5-6 years back, or even more. Assuming that you have left social science, if you are from science background, you have left social science in class 10th, I'm sorry. So 11th, 12th, and assuming 3 years of graduation. So whatever you have read was 5 years ago. And when you are coming to this part and you are starting your preparation, you need something to, you need a foundation. That is why this NCERTs are important, because for beginners, especially all those who are watching, for beginners, this is like your, this is your GPS. Without, and that too you are in a lost jungle. If you are without this GPS, what to study? Some things what we do in preparation seems unrealistic. What is unrealistic? Unrealistic is, sir, if I say you that we complete geography in a span of 1 month, if I say you we complete history in a span of 1.5 months, seems impossible. You ask to any academician who is from, any scholar who is from that particular subject that we are doing this, they will say we won't believe, that is not possible. Yes, that is not possible at all. Not at all it is possible. But yes, we are doing that. How? This is our guide. This is telling what to study, what not to study. This is telling that what is the direction of preparation you should go. Fine. So, especially to the aspirants, to the students who are coming from non-humanities background, because our major subject history, polity, economy, geography, majority chunk is from that side, and those who are coming from non-humanities background, for them this is very important. For them this is an important aspect, and it helps in developing this conceptual clarity. Next, sir, it is somewhat when you compare your syllabus, with NCERT's designing, you will find that somewhere that alignment is there, somewhere that aligning is there. Fine. So, when you see ancient to modern history, when you see physical and human geography, constitution, governance, social issues, science, environment, ethics, indirectly. Because ethics is something which is not mentioned directly in NCERT, but I will tell you for ethics, which are the NCERTs that we need to refer. People saying ethics के लिए NCERT ज़रूरी नहीं है, NCERT is not important for ethics, wrong. NCERT is important for ethics. Fine. And you need to have a holistic understanding of the subject. Another why NCERT is a language simplicity. Understand, actually these books are written for school kids. So the language is not that the Hindu language. The language of NCERT in explaining is not the Hindu language, am I right? The language of the Hindu is complex. It is. But here when you see, that is why student friendly language. It is kept so that a 6th class student, 7th, 8th, 9th class student can study it, can understand it. And this is where the differentiation comes. This is where the differentiation comes. It is, what is the differentiation? The differentiation is, sir, we all have read these books. Yes? You have read these books when you are in your respective classes, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Then why you are asking to read it again? Why NCERTs are again required to read? Because last time when you read these books, it was for the sake of memorizing. It was for the sake of memorizing, mugging up, rote learning the answers. Not for this. Not for understanding what is the concept. Not for understanding what is the theme. This was done only for what? For last time, means when you were in class 6 or you were in class 7th, 8th. When you read these books, these were only for one reason, that you want to just get good marks, you want to memorize answers, question answers, long answer, short answer, very long answer. Am I right? Especially in social sciences. But this time what you have to do it for a better understanding. Fine. Also, when you will see the end of every chapter, you'll find one is that HOTS, fine, important topics which are in box. Those boxes are very important. At the end of every chapter you will find the glossary. At the end of every chapter you will find a set of terminology which are important for that chapter. This will help you in what? So one aspect is that those NCERT chapters are building your concept, they are building your understanding, and second part is they are doing what? They are improving your technical vocabulary. They are providing you that one word which you could have written a sentence. But what NCERT is providing? NCERT is providing that one word in that. So your technical vocabulary, which is important, especially when you are writing your answers, it is important. Ideal for prelims, mains, essay, everywhere. Even for your interviews it is important. Even for your interviews it is important. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Fine. So how it helps in that, because in prelims the questions are coming directly. For sure, you compare the prelims PYQ with previous years questions with NCERTs standard text, you will find that yes, the questions are repeated and they are coming factually, especially the factual question, they are coming directly from this NCERT. Okay. Second important aspect is that when you develop, when you will develop yourself for answer writing in mains, you will realize one thing, that the questions, the subjective questions which are given at the end of every chapter is your first base of answer writing. Though the questions are for class 6, 7th, 8th students, but even where to start answer writing? You start from there. Start answering questions, subjective questions which are given at the end of that chapter. That are given at the end of that chapter.
So they have to.
Okay. Fine. Next important aspect that why we need NCERT is because of the contiguity it maintains, 6th to 12th. So like in history, I'll tell you about history. So class 6th is ancient, class 7th, class 8th, modern, 9th, 10th, फिर 11th, 12th coming back, and it will upgrade it. It will upgrade it. So there is a flow. There is a flow in those books. And when you read one book from, if you read books, every so if you see, smaller classes, books, 6th, 7th, 8th, they will provide you what? They will provide you a story-like learning. They will provide you a base. But what to do with that? That analytical strength is provided by the higher, class books. Of course, sir, one other very important challenge, if we have to purchase hundreds of books, so this is one of the most cost-efficient book I have found. Hardly any NCERT is 200 rupees, and even if you don't want that, all the NCERTs are available free of cost on the NCERT's website. You go, e-books, from the drop-down select your class, subject, book, you will find. Even you can, many of the NCERTs which are available in the regional languages, you will definitely find out of that. Fine. And this is important. Before we move on to the next section, why it is important? Why it is important to build a strong base so that questions, like right before this, many of you gave test. Some questions were simple, factual. Some questions were conceptual. But when these conceptual question comes in, there you require conceptual clarity, there you require understanding, there you need a very strong base so that no question can shake you, and that is what NCERTs are doing for an aspirant. For a UPSC aspirant, this is what NCERTs are doing, that they are giving you that base, they are giving you that, strength, that foundation where you can tackle the questions. Again, when we are saying NCERTs, how to read NCERTs, how to decode NCERTs, I am not saying that NCERTs are the most important element, no. NCERTs are important. Only NCERTs, no. You have to go with reference book. You have to make the transition. That is why the initial months, of preparation, I am saying about NCERTs. Focus on NCERTs in initial months. It will take some time. How you go to swimming? Let's say you are learning again. I take example of swimming. How swimming starts? How anything starts? Swimming starts from a small pool, right? The swimming that starts from a small pool, then you will go to a pond. Then gradually you will upgrade. A time will come that you will swim in ocean. A time will come. But if your target is to swim the ocean, to cross the ocean, You cannot directly jump into the ocean. There is a process to everything. Of course, you will get your, you will find pearls and valuables in the ocean only. But for the deep diving, you first must learn how to swim in a pool. Without learning how to swim in a pool, if you will go and directly jump into the ocean, what will happen? And this is a common mistake that most of the aspirants do. A common mistake that most of the aspirants do is they try, oh, we can swim, this is the water. It isn't, there is a water, I have to swim, I will jump directly into the ocean. So that is not jumping, that becomes dumping. You are dumping yourself out there. First, go, start swimming from a small pool, from a shallow pool, 4 feet. Then you will move to a 6 feet pool. Then you will move to a pond or a river. Then you learn how to swim against the stream. Then only you can try and swim in the sea. Before that, it is lethal. So, we have to read class 6 to 12 NCERT, but all are not equal. Why? Because, of course, you don't need to read every NCERT from every subject. It is not that you just pull out all the bulk of class 6 to 12 NCERT and you start reading every subject. No. Focus on the subject, of course, which are relevant to our GS. So, history, geography, polity, economy, sociology, because sociology NCERTs are important for your Indian society part. Science is required for your basics. So, wherever the basics are required. Again, another question that most of the aspirants ask is, sir, what to choose between new NCERTs and old NCERTs? Of course, new NCERTs, that is post 2005, yes, better layout is there, pictures and those things. If you see old NCERTs, especially history and geography, you will find, especially history, you will find the factual details given in old NCERTs are way better. The factual details which are given in the old NCERTs are way better, and UPSC often refers to them. It's true. That is why in some subjects we will say read new NCERTs, in some subjects we say read old NCERT. Because old NCERTs were more factually rich when compared to, for your UPSC perspective, it is more relevant. So how is the approach? So for history, old NCERTs, ancient, medieval, modern. For history, what he will refer, now there is always this contradiction, there is always this debate whether new NCERTs, old NCERTs, depend on subject. For history, you will go with old NCERTs. For polity, geography, economy, science, so basically for history, and if you will observe the news which is floating nowadays, the controversy is on history NCERTs only. Can history be rewritten? Once that has happened, see, the issue is, when we talk about history, it is the perspective of the historiographer, it is the perspective of the writer that is visible. For an event, your perspective may be different, mine perspective may be different. Am I right? There is a possibility a historian who may discover this civilization maybe after 5,000 years or 6,000, 10,000 years later. There is a possibility that we may get discovered, especially, let's say, and that historiographer finds some bungalow that archaeologist finds a bungalow, and that bungalow had a swimming pool. Nowadays, bungalows have swimming pool, but he writes, no, this was a part of ritualistic bath. That is his perspective. That was a different story, that a pool party may have been going on in that 5,000 years earlier. Possible? But it is historiographer who is saying, no, this was a place where rituals were carried out. This was a place which was all surrounded by changing rooms. So before entering into the holy pool, you have to take a bath. perspective. This is the perspective of the historians. This is the perspective of the author, which is reflected in the history books. Because, and understand, we are not reading history books for, creating that perspective. We are reading history books for what? We are talking about factual details. Again, when you are reading, when you are preparing for UPSC Civil Service examination, you understand one thing, that you are not supposed to be an expert in every subject. They don't require you to be an expert in every subject. What they require is you should have general information, general studies, hai na? That you should have general information about things. You should have general information about everything. Yes. Again, sometimes you may be asked that, oh, just start reading randomly. No. There is a structured way to read. First of all, you are not supposed to read these things randomly. You are not supposed to read these things randomly. Again, your first friend, syllabus. Arrange a meeting of your two friends. Arrange a meeting of your two friends. Syllabus with NCERT. Then see what are the chapters which are aligning with your themes. What are the chapters that are aligning with your, So, for GS paper 1 society, class 11, no need to read from top to bottom. No, class 11 sociology. GS paper 2, for example, Indian Constitution 9 to 12 polity. For economy, class 11, 12, macroeconomics. Like even in class 12, there are two books in economics, micro and macro. No need to read for micro as such. What is important? Macroeconomics are important. Fine. Paper 1 and 3, environment, so class 6 and 12. Even in class 12 environment, sir, there is only 1 or 2 chapters in the biology book that you have to read. Again, when we say class 12th, science and tech, no need to go for the higher end physics, chemistry, mathematics or biology books for class 12. They are quite good. For environment, what we need is just few chapters. Just few chapters from certain books. Then of course you will move, after reading that 2, 3, 4 chapters, then you will move on to the next level. Fine. So what is the relevance? Class 6 to 8, it builds your early, especially in history, geography, science. What class 6 to 8 will do? It will build your early concept in the story format. Now, if you have done your graduation in geography, history, economy, any of the subject, you can skip this. Already, if you have done graduation in that, your storytelling part is over now. You understand what is what. You understand the terminology. So, if you have done graduation in that particular subject, no need to go for this part, 6 to 8. You know the stories. You can just refer them quickly for the sake of questions if required. Unless you have done BA history or MA history or BA geography, MA geography, then no need to go for class 6 to 8. Can you skip that? Again, UPSC's preparations format is not strict in nature. Everyone, no. For all of you, for all of those who are watching us, for all of you, there is a different strategy. You cannot give same medicine of nutrient deficiency to everyone. We have to see now what is the deficiency first. Or no, this is a common nutrient deficiency tablet, everyone should take it. No, it is not possible. Everyone cannot have it. I have to test. And that is where mentorship, which we are offering, comes in. You have already done, like to those who are watching, you have already done your foundation part, you have already done your GS prelims course, means batch, whatever. You don't need to go to class again, don't go. If you feel I don't need to go to class again, no need to go. But you need a direction which can, you need a guidance, you need a, a path which can tell you, a guide who can tell you that this is the right path. Your preparation is here, your content is here, how to utilize that. So for example, you are good in history and you like reading history and you keep on reading history, does it making any productive advantage to your abilities? No. A person in MA history, I like history, he's keep on reading history. Your weak part is environment ecology, your weak part is science and tech, start working on that. But of course you need someone to tell that this part is weak. Fine. Secondly, 9th to 10th will give you a good factual base for prelims. Fine, especially in polity, economy and science. In case of polity, economy and science, what class 9th, 10th will do? Factual base. I can tell you many of the questions which came from class 8th, 9th, 10th books. Why we are reading, sir? What is the purpose to read class 6 to 8? What is this is the purpose to read those books. Fine. Then 11th, 12th, sir, this is very for high value for mains. Again, this is not the only reading I am telling you. I will tell you the detailed list of books later. And when you are reading these books, I told you, you have, now it is the time to make this friend meet your third friend, and that is PYQs. That is PYQs. How? If a chapter has no contribution in PYQs, there's a possibility that a chapter may not have been asked ever. Can deprioritize it. Again, I am telling you, the language of the question is not repeated. When people say questions are not repeated in UPSC, sir, the language is not repeated in the UPSC. The theme is repeated. The topic is repeated. There was a question on Gandhiji. Yes, there will be a question. There were questions on Gandhiji. Sometimes maybe related to non-cooperation movement, sometimes related, I think it was 21, 22. They simply asked what is similarity between Gandhi and Karl Marx. This was a prelims question. It means they can compare Gandhi's personality with that of Rabindranath Tagore, or how Gandhi's ideology towards depressed classes was different from that of Dr. Ambedkar. Now again, what is important? Sir, Gandhiji is important. You cannot skip that part saying, "Arey, Gandhiji pe to question aa chuka hai, we are not going to read this." No. Language of the question will not be repeated for sure. Those words may not appear again, but that theme, that topic will appear again and again. Deficits. Have you not seen question on deficits? In economy, when you see, so the question was on revenue deficit, fiscal deficit, primary deficit. Again and again, questions are being asked on these subjects, on these themes. The language may not have been same. So what you have to do when you are preparing for when you are reading your NCERTs, you have to map chapters according to what? According to, fine. For example, they repeatedly ask questions on like rock system. They repeatedly ask question on revolt of 1857, functions of parliament, and so on. One question is on atmosphere. Layers of atmosphere in geography. Question may differ. Sometimes they may ask a question on troposphere, sometimes they may ask a question on stratosphere, but on layers there will be question. On ocean streams, there will be question. Again, in the last session I have told you that we should not go for subjects in isolation. We have to go for themes which are a broader perspective. Agriculture, sir, black cotton soil is a theme. You will find the question on black cotton soil in geography, you will find a question on black cotton soil in agriculture, you will find a question on black cotton soil in your science and tech as well. Sometimes they may ask what is more in a black soil. Sometimes they ask what is the reason of formation of black soil. Sometimes they may ask which of the following crops are suitable in cultivation. See, Question is not repeated, I agree. But these themes are again and again repeated. You don't, bifurcate them on the basis of questions. You bifurcate them on the basis of themes that have come. Okay. Then optional relevance, yes. History, geography, sociology, PSIR, anthropology, yes, you have to start with your NCERTs. If you're reading, if you're having any of these optionals, you start with NCERTs. You start with NCERTs. Very important. That will give you a very good insight for the same. Okay. So you cannot read NCERTs blindfolded. You cannot read NCERTs without any direction. You need to have that. And if you are doing this, sir, you are doing the biggest, Now another question, which is most of the people misunderstood when I say NCERT was his reference book. Some say, sir, are you saying that a student has to read only NCERT? I said, when I said this? I've never said this. NCERTs alone are not enough. But without NCERT, it is also not enough. Understand? So, why? What is, if we see purpose, we have to make a foundational clarity. We have to build a basic, concepts. For that, NCERT is good. But when you talk about critical analysis, value addition, when you talk about providing depth to that understanding, then reference books. This, is for your beginner level. Again, if you are okay in any of these subjects, you can directly jump to reference books. If you have done graduation, post-graduation in a particular subject, not for all. Secondly, this is very important for your mains and interview. You can fight with prelims on the basis of NCERT, but when the question will be on mains, sir, you need a reference book. Fine. When you talk about language and accessibility, yes, understand, there is a dense and academic language written here. Without understanding the simple, friendly language, can you directly jump to that? How your learning was when you start reading, when you start learning, how that was in first alphabet, na? What is English? A to Z. Is there any word in English beyond A to Z? No. 26 alphabets. But gradually, even if you have to read ultimately you have to read a sentence. Ultimately you have to frame a sentence, but you started from alphabets. Same way, you have to first understand this to get an expertise in this. If you will not read this is gone. Many of the times, like when I take economy, many of the students, aspirants, they come and they ask, sir, mostly the question of economy are from current affairs. I said, yes, that's true. So can we directly refer to current affairs instead of going through these NCERTs and books? Well, that's your choice, your life. But if you ask me, don't read current affairs unless and until you are okay with your concepts. You will not understand the concept, right? How can you understand the concept without, going through that? Now this is the important part, that how to do NCERT mapping with GS syllabus, how to match that. Now this is something all of you can note down. I'll provide this. Those who are watching us on YouTube, if you want access to this whole structure or this whole PPT, you can just leave your comment in the section, in the chat section. You can leave a comment and we will provide you the copy of this within 48 hours, 48 working hours. Okay, now starting with how to match this. Start with, sir, first we'll talk about history. What are the NCERTs? When you take class 6 to 8, ancient medieval one, this is the basic chronology, this is the cultural evolution, which you should know. This is general knowledge. This is general knowledge. This. So class 6 to 8, it is giving ancient and medieval India, fine, modern India. Then when you see class 9, India in the contemporary world, it is talking about nationalism and revolts. Now again, I'll advance level. First you read Indian history, but Indian history was, the events of Indian history were not happening in isolation, right? There was a contemporary world. There were world events as well at the same time. Class 10th also. Now, again, modern India freedom movement, will talk about that. Then themes in Indian history part 1, 2, 3, the new NCERTs. This is the new NCERTs of class 12. These are the new NCERTs, very important for mains. But at the same time, this old NCERTs, which is R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra and Bipin Chandra. R.S. Sharma for ancient. This, sir, do we need to read this many books? See, your first 5 books are just, base. Hardly it should take 7 to 10 days max. First 5 books. When you will spend good time, an ample time here, then you have to give good time here. If you have an understanding here, then you press it here. Got the clarity? Then, next, sir, geography. All the geography. Again, class 6 to 8 geography, understanding India's physical feature, climate, resources, getting a general idea. Getting a general idea. What is what are rivers, where are rivers, mountains, physical geography, what is ocean, where is ocean, which are the oceans which are surrounding India, and so on. Class 9th, 10th, Content India 1 to physical geography of India, agriculture, industry, human settlements. So physical and human geography, economic geography. Class 11th, fundamental. This is the most important book. When you talk about geography, this is the most important book, which class 11th, fundamentals of physical geography. So you can go it like this as well. Fine. Then class 12, people and economy, fundamentals of human geography. It is not needed for you, but for prelims, this, and you couple this with Atlas. Class 11th, fundamentals of physical geography, and then you couple it with Atlas. Another mandatory element that you should have with you in this whole journey of preparation, Atlas. It will help you in history as well. It will help you in economy as well. It will help you in geography as well. Sorry. Then for 11, 12, especially for society, Indian society, social change, class 11, 12 sociology books you can refer. For polity and constitution, again, class 9, 10th, for easy introduction to, early introduction to the institutions. Starting, what is the difference between parliament and state legislature, what is Lok Sabha, what is what? Class 6 to 8 or the early stages when these things are introduced, it tells you what is what. Step 1 is to understand what is what. Step 2, like class 11, Indian constitution work, the structure, rights, powers, federalism. See, upgradation of concept. What is this? This is upgradation of concept. Next level, sir, 12, politics in India since independence. So this will help you in polity, this will help you in understanding constitutional development, this will help you understand the post-independent history as well. Again, focus on themes, not subjects. Focus on themes, not subject. When you talk about governance and social justice, now here, sir, no separate NCERT is there. No separate NCERT is there. But social inequalities, class 12th, sociology, class 10th economics book, means we are not supposed to read every NCERT. Sometimes few chapters IR, in NCERT do not cover IR, but class 12 political science gives context on that. India after independence, so you cannot understand India's polity is an exclusion. Can you understand India's polity in exclusion? No. Okay. India's foreign policy post-independence, role of NAM, Cold War, UN institution. This is helpful for the background. These are all available in NCERTs. These are all available in NCERTs. When you talk about economy, 9th, 10th, again, basic terms, 11th, Indian economic development, planning, liberalization, sectors of economy. This will help you understand Indian economy after independence, post-liberalization. Class 12th only macroeconomics. Again, microeconomics should not do. So monetary policy, banking, fiscal policy, they are directly useful in mains, prelims, anywhere. Okay, science tech class 6 to 10, which is the basics of physics, chemistry, biology, space, energy, and this is again, this three will have a larger say in science and tech. Biology, space, energy, nuclear, questions on nuclear energy, questions on space technology, these are having a higher say in science and tech, and this is again basics. If you see the questions which are on science and tech, they are not very advanced in their nature, they are very basic in their nature. Of course, coupled with current affairs. Okay, we talk about environment. So again, geography, environmental geography, science, part of science, which is relevant for both GS3 and prelims and environment, disaster management, natural disasters, class 9, 10 geography. Before managing disaster, you should know what is disaster, right? Okay. Then ethics, integrity, and it is not directly covered, but moral science, social studies, books are different classes. They will give you a base of ethics. Now tell me which subject is left. Some subjects are covered directly, some subjects are covered indirectly. But if you talk about the base, complete base of your GS is lying in where? It is lying in NCERTs. Remember these lines. Remember these lines. That is, I am out of the frame. So when one is reading, another is preparing smart. What is the difference? When you club your NCERTs, when you have your NCERTs along with your syllabus, when you read NCERT guided by syllabus, then that is preparation, and then it is not just reading. Okay. Now the next part, sir, how to read NCERTs effectively. How to read it? So is it just one reading, like what to do? This is a very common question you are asking from past 1 year. Sir, padhe kaise? Okay, let's start. So first reading. So every time, and this is I have told to everyone, when you are starting, make the first read like you are reading a storybook. This is what I have always told you. First, it should be like a storybook. Just focus on that flow of story. Just focus on some certain concepts. Don't fall into, we will do a complete post-mortem of this today itself. No. Fine. Then feel it. Don't focus on how I should underline this. We will do it later. This is your first reading. When you're first being introduced to the book. And if you read NCERT, especially smaller classes NCERTs, lower class NCERTs, you can do it quickly. Read it like a novel, read it like a storybook. Just go with the flow. And try to relate the concepts which are discussed there with the real life examples. Try to relate the concepts which are there with the real life examples. With those examples which you can know. For example, why we are discussing so much about free trade agreement with Britain. India had a free trade agreement with Britain. This happened. Why we are discussing it so much? Sir, a country which has economically exploited us for centuries, which left nothing 75 years back, which took all the which drained all the wealth from us. Today we are a larger economy than them, yes. And today we are having a trade agreement with that country. We are in Calicut right now. 1498, Vasco da Gama came for what? Trade. You understand the significance of this event. Now you are able to relate that. Now you are able to relate that. Okay. Then when you are doing one read very quick, then second reading. I don't feel that any one of you, and this is my personal experience as well, we cannot have, I feel we should read every novel, book twice. You make one reading in first go. Let's say you are reading a novel or you are reading a self-help book or any kind of the bestseller you are reading. One reading you just read, but when you read it after read it, but after few months give it a second read. Sometimes when you watch movies, you don't understand a movie in one go. You watch the movie, you know the flow. You know the flow, how that is going on. But you don't, but when you watch it for the second time, then you understand the depth of every, scene. Then you understand how deep this scene was, how deep this dialogue was. When you watch movies, this happens. When you watch it for the second time or the third time, you realize, oh. That is the reason when I say that when you read NCERTs, every time you will find something new. This is because of that. First, second reading, yes, now you underline, highlight the key terms. Now you use the margin for the quick notes. Now you create a chapter-wise summary on your own. What now you can do? Of course, you can use this in the digital format. You can use various tools in that, but this should come in the second reading. First, it should be like a quick watching of movie. It should be a quick watch on the movie, right? Then, this is the most important aspect. Revise again and again. Revision is the key to success. Revision is the key to success. It is not about how much you read, but about how well you revise. Remember this line in your life till you are preparing. Can you complete the whole syllabus? No. Because we don't know what is the ends of syllabus. Can anyone say that my 100% syllabus is complete? No. So whatever you will read will always feel less. And how to make less more? By repetition, by revision. Can you read the whole syllabus? I'm telling you, whosoever, and this is telling on record, this is on YouTube. Whosoever claims, I will complete 100% syllabus, whether it is a mentor or a student, they're lying. We can assume because UPSC syllabus is 4-dimensional, it is not even 3-dimensional. What we study is 2-dimensional. To some extent, we may go to the 3rd dimension, but we will never understand what is the 4th dimension. UPSC goes in the 4th dimension about asking the question, and if you don't understand what is the 4th dimension. So when we say 100% syllabus, you are talking about completion of the 2 dimensions. Somewhat you can go to the bit depth, but what you are covering is the length and the breadth of the syllabus. You are not covering the depth of that. How deep you can go? Endless, hai na? That is an infinite loop. So anyone saying, again, this is a very, even for me, this statement is big. If anyone is saying, whether he is a student or a mentor or a teacher, who says, I'll complete 100% syllabus, samajh jana, something is wrong. No one knows the limits. If you don't know the limit, how can you complete? Yes. I can give you guidance up to 80, 85, 90% of the syllabus. But you have to understand, for that 10%, don't destroy your 90%. How it goes? Target 80, 85, 90% of the syllabus as per your skills and put your 200% energy on that 80, 85%. Revision, repetition. So again, it is not about how much, it is about how well you have revised. And what is ideal, sir? This is ideal. You have to target at least 3 revisions before prelims. Of course, every consecutive revision will take a lesser time. Every consecutive revision will take a lesser time. Less time. First revision, first book reading. Second reading will take more time because there you will be underlining, making notes, making points and all. But when you will revise for the third time, basically that is your first revision, or that is your third read, fine, or your, goes like that. Their time will be less. Just pick out the points that you have highlighted. Third will be even less, but yes, at least you should go. And again, so how to do that? When you are in the final aspect, final zone, just focus only on the highlighted notes, highlighted points. No need to go for whole book reading again. First reading with the flow, read it. Don't use pen, pencil, just absorb it, feel it. Watch the movie in the theater. But when you are watching movie on YouTube, this was good, this was a good line. Sometimes you do that, na? Or sometimes when a scene happened, "Arey, ye samajh nahi aaya, I could not understand it," go back. Same thing is applicable there. And yes, so in this whole process, there are certain common mistakes that are being, made by the aspirants. Common mistakes. First of all, reading without aligning with the syllabus. Again, you will not, all of you, please get a copy of syllabus. If you are not having a copy of syllabus, get it from the office. Have a copy of syllabus. Fine. Because first reading is okay. So what is the mistake? Reading NCERT like a school student, chapter by chapter without reference. Solution: always keep your prelims and main syllabus in front of you. You should have it. Without that, it is a directionless. You are just in the mid of the ocean and you are saying, I'm swimming, but in which direction you are swimming? There are infinite directions in which you can swim. There are infinite ways. You are in the middle of the ocean. You are saying, sir, I am swimming daily, but I am not reaching destination. How will you reach destination? You are swimming parallel to the coast. There is a possibility you may swim away from the coast. You should know the direction, right? This will give you that direction. Another mistake that happens, this all changed, that reading too many books in the name of completeness, including irrelevant NCERTs. No, sir, not required. Someone says you read maths NCERT book, nahi chahiye, jao yahan se. Not required. What is the solution? Be selective and strategic. I have told you how to be selective and strategic based on that above things. Another mistake that you make is reading once and moving and thinking it's done. No. First reading, when you do the first reading, you think, acha, we have completed our NCERT. No. You have not completed your NCERT yet. Okay. This is basically, it's a 3-read cycle. First is for understanding, second for note making, third for active recall, MCQ solving in that part. 3 readings minimum. First is very quick, second will take time, third you will revise. This is a standard procedure you have to follow in every NCERT. First read it quickly so that you have an idea what is what. Okay. And this should be done before you are moving to this. Again, copy pasting paragraphs into notes. This is nothing but you are wasting hours. This line is good. This line is good, highlight it there. What is the sense of again writing the same line in your copy? Always try to summarize that, always try to write in crisp zones, notes you are writing that, write it in a crisp manner. Exam oriented manner. Make flow charts, make some mind maps out of that. Then it is useful. Copying what is written in book as a part, that is not note making. Of course, you can take some reference, but that is not your notes. That is copy pasting. If you have to do that, what is the, again and again I am saying that don't ignore PYQs while you are reading NCERTs. Okay. This is also many people do. Sir, there is an NCERT compilation. Sir, that is a summary of NCERT. Sir, these are photocopy notes of some XYZ person. We will read that. Sir, please don't do this. This, what I am saying, you may take some time, but the result will be very concrete. The result will be very strong. Let it take time. Normal gestation period of humans is what, 9 months? Can you do it early? No. Whatever, how big the technology becomes, you cannot reduce this time period. 36 weeks means 36 weeks. Technology is there, no? We are going for scientific advancement. Can there be a scientific advancement which says that no, take this injection and we'll reduce the gestation period from 9 months to 7 months? No, sir, you cannot. Same way. And if they are doing this, sir, they are fooling. And even if a child is born out of that, you will call, oh, that is premature. Not strong enough. Put in incubator for 2 months. Am I right? Sir, some things take their time and you have to give that time to them. You have to give, like there's a concept of lab grown diamonds. Heard of that? Lab grown diamonds. क्या होते हैं? What are this? Generally diamonds we get it from graphite and that carbon structure. When it is under immense pressure and with temperature, that transforms into. Now in general this takes thousands of years, hundreds of years to make a diamond, when nature do it. There are lab grown diamonds. There are. Now we have concept that we are simulating that conditions of high pressure and temperature, and that carbon structure, that hexagonal carbon structure is getting into diamond. But what is the difference? Price. Lab grown diamonds are cheaper. For those who cannot, who feels, they say that if you, like when I saw some of the ads of these lab grown diamonds, they say that if you cannot own a real diamond, own a lab grown diamond. It is same, but sir, it is not the real diamond. It is same. It is cheaper. It won't add value to you. It won't add value to your net worth. चीज असली है, real is real. Today there are supplements of coconut water. So in this region there are bottled coconut water supplements available, alternates available, am I right? But are they as useful as your real coconut water? No. For real coconut water, someone has to climb, bring that down, cut it, and then others can grow in lab, others can do those things in artificially. But will that have that nutritious value? Will it have that nutritious value what a real coconut water is having? No. Same thing. I am not saying that don't read. You can read these NCERT summaries or summaries of NCERT at a third or fourth stage. Later. It can be a good source of revision, but it can never be the source of first reading. It can be a source of revision, true, but it cannot be a source of, the first reading. Okay. This is a common mistake, another mistake that aspirants do, that they just jump. Sir, sir, ho gaya. One reading done, Lakshmikant. One reading done, Spectrum. One reading done, sir. What is that? Khuller in geography. G.C. Leong in geography. You are actually reading, all of you, as online people, you are actually reading this quickly so that you can jump to the reference book. Am I right? You are just, complete NCERT quick, we want to read Lakshmikant. Quick, pad lena. I'm not stopping. But give time to them. Then you will see what is missing in those books. Give time. Don't, go for that. Again, note down this line. Very important that you should remember, write it somewhere on your wall. What? Some mistakes don't kill the preparation. Mistakes will happen. To err is human. If you are a human, you will do errors. But it is not the mistakes which will kill your preparation. What will kill your preparation? Repetition of mistakes. Okay. See. This is when you have to do the transition from, see, here you have to do the transition. You cannot do a transition when you're reading these books. I did class 6 NCERT. Now I can go and read Lakshmikant. Don't. There is no standard book here. Why transition? Introductory ideas for beginner. This is very beginning. Don't do any transition here. Do a transition here. When you do Lakshmikant, sir, that is also done. Then you go for optional when you are reading that D.D. Basu or Subhash Kashyap if you want more depth. If you feel that, no sir, I read Lakshmikant but feel something is missing. There is something missing. Prelims, okay, means you need somewhat depth. Our parliament, our constitution by Subhash Kashyap, NBT ki books अच्छी होती हैं. You can jump to that. But don't jump here. Jump here. Most of the time it happens, sir, I have read like NCERTs. This again, when you talk about geography, don't jump here. Read these books without jumping to the standard books. Why? Because school level beginning. You jump here. When you read class 11, now you can talk about G.C. Leong. Now you can talk about Oxford Atlas. Where to take that jump? Where to do that transition? From where you should move on from NCERTs to reference books. You can get all this. Don't worry. This whole structure is available. Again, no need to go for here. Like most of the times, you can move here. After reading themes in Indian history, then you can move on to. That is why UPSC preparation is difficult. You need patience for this. Strength is a different story, but what you need is patience for this. Okay. For all those who need this structure, they can leave a message in the comment section, or they can visit our website www.safiis.com, and there you can put an inquiry and you will be sent this. Same. See, for economy, don't move here. Here you can. And this is also transition. This is also transition. Can't jump directly to economic survey budget document. But follow these steps. Follow steps. Here, whatever, like the society don't need to go for. Of course, this is for enrichment. No. Current affairs, the Hindu, especially when you're talking about science and tech for prelims again. Science and tech is for prelims only. Ethics paper, sir. Class 11, 12 psychology. I told you I'll tell you the books. Why? To understand the relevant behavior values. Class 12 pol science for philosophers' rights. Then you can move on to the standard books like Lexicon, Subbarao, Subbarao, adding this ethical. Okay. So what is our understanding from today's session? Sir, number one. Like here when construction happens, especially in the hilly tracts, what is done first? Sir, for that bed is prepared, no? Blocking it from big stones, making that bedrock. Then that construction starts. It is the same process and it is the most time taking process. Making a strong foundation. Once your foundation is strong, once your structure is made, then it is very quick, na? What is the most time taking part? It is the foundation. Unfortunately, in today's time, there is a high rate of people, who are saying, oh, we cannot go for this. The reason is because they are not at all giving time to foundation. They are in hurry here. Should not be. Then you have to read smart, you have to not read hard. You have to read smart. This is no isolation reading of NCERT. It has to be clubbed with PYQs, it has to be clubbed with your syllabus. Then this is our another seminar. We'll talk about how to master a note, how to make notes, how to write a good answer, how to, we'll talk about these things. Now those who have already prepared, like some of you have already done some sort of preparation, now you are understanding what is the difference between just studying content and then adding these elements to your preparation. What was lagging in your preparation? These elements were lagging in your preparation. Okay, we'll talk about this. And last and the most important part is the timely transition from NCERTs to reference books. NCERTs make you capable of understanding standard book, make you capable of articulation, and UPSC demands both. So alone NCERT not enough, alone reference book not enough. Any question? Any question? क्या हुआ समझ ही नहीं आई कोई बात क्या sir these sessions are like those, sometimes it happens na, we watch a movie and the movie ends and we are in the awe, something is, because we are taking time to absorb that, am I right? This is something for like you have started your preparation, you people have just starting. Those who have done some preparation, they will understand that okay, this is something which we have skipped. This is something which we have skipped. This is something which could have been better. This is something which could have been done in a somewhat better way. Am I right? Now, you go again, this is again available on YouTube. This video is available on YouTube. This live. Even after live it is available. When you will go and feel and watch it again, you will realize that yes, things are different when you come. See, now if your way to look at NCERTs have changed in past 1.5 hours roughly, then the purpose of this whole process for me is fulfilled. Fine. Those who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. This will be available, and if you feel that yes, this is the gap where we need to fulfill this gap in our preparation, we need to bridge this gap in our preparation, you can definitely connect us. In the description of this video, we will have all our information through which you can connect to us. We are available online as well as in Our batches are available online as well. So you can join them, and to those who are here, tomorrow is again a holiday, Sunday. But why I am putting these things on Saturdays, so that whatever we do here, you take some time to absorb that. This is like watering the plants, and this watering the plants is not something which will, which will act immediately. Water, it will take some time for the soil to absorb the water. We have just watered the plant. The soil will absorb it, and then gradually in a couple of days it will be reflected in the leaves. Fine. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you in the next session, and next session will be on newspaper, note making, PYQs. Let's start with newspaper first. We'll go shift to PYQs in a later stage. Next, our such seminar will be on how to read newspaper effectively for UPSC. Most of you don't understand, read newspaper. What to read, how to read. This we'll discuss. Thank you so much for being here. Wishing you all the best. Stay safe, all of you. Stay healthy. The health losses are also, will cause you. How is he? Rahim. Have anyone spoken to him? Huh? He's in hospital. He's coming on Monday. Okay. Fine. Thank you so much, everyone.